So I'm currently in the process of hiring contractors to help rebuild a washroom in my basement, as well as a back patio, a back deck for my house. And what's interesting in the process is that you know, it's kind of, there's a lot of analogies to hiring marketing professionals, and I'm aware of it more because I'm really just trying to find the similarities between hiring contractors in a construction sense as well as hiring and marketing. What I'm noticing though is that the specialized companies who all they do is one thing. For example, I looked up a deck company. Actually, they had an advertisement in a local hockey arena here, and we saw them. They had a funny name, so we added them to the list and we called them. And what's interesting about them is that they have very, very dialed in products that are easy to buy. So when someone's going to come over later, they're going to show me the things that are on their website, and they're basically going to say, here are the options that we have. We can probably customize things for you, but the packages are here. So it's really easy to buy before I even talk to anyone. And I can see dozens of examples of decks that I can buy and all kinds of stuff. So the experience there, and this was similar to when I had pot lights installed. You can't really see them. I had pot lights a long time ago installed, and I went to a company called like the Pot Light Expert or something like that, and they came in, they figured it out, they got it done. It was a price per pot light and really easy to buy, really easy to go through the whole process. Didn't have to worry about electricians. There were electricians, and that's what they did. And it was probably a company that was adjacent to their core company. I don't know if all they did was sell pot lights, but that's how they positioned this particular business. But I digress. The main thing is that the more specialized the companies are that I work with, the more productized their things tend to be, and the easier it is for me to buy. And more information is on their website typically, and it sort of feels like when I'm talking to them that I can say something, they're like, "Yep, I got this, cool," and they'll have like 4 or 5 solutions in their back pocket. Now, people that are less specialized that do a variety of things seem to be figuring out what to do on the fly. So if I ask them for, a roof, and then it's gonna, they're kind of like thinking about the best way to approach that, or siding, or what have you, right? It sort of feels like they're kind of deciding, they're going to go on the internet and see what they could possibly do for me. And so this happens all the time with hiring marketers as well. And so I know it's scary to specialize, but ideally you want to be thinking in terms of, how do I become the person who has packages, has seen it all before, works with a specific type of client, and does specific types of things. Ideally both, but if you want to just pick one of those two things, you want to just pick a market to serve, and then you have a slightly broader service offering, or you want to go specific in terms of what you offer and who you offer it for, that's the ideal situation. Definitely the market first is usually an ideal situation, because you're able to solve broader problems a lot more easier when you've seen the same kind of client over and over again. And so it's just, from the buyer perspective, if we're confused about why we're not closing all the deals, we just have to think about it like hiring a contractor. They know that they have to fend for themselves. I have to make informed decisions. I have to think through what I really want, because proposals are coming at me pretty quick before I've even gotten a clear scope in my mind, let alone a clear vision. I'm able to get a proposal pretty quickly with a price that's like, yeah, depending on how you do it, here's an estimate, and here's, it's going to cost you more or less this regardless of what you choose. And so ideally the buyer wants a clear vision of what success is going to look like, and ideally you want to be able to package it and productize it, at least make it really easy to shop, at least make it feel like this isn't the first time you're selling this thing, that you've done this over and over again, that you have go-to, if not core products. And they should know, roughly what they're buying before you even put a proposal together. And ideally, you spend the time to create that mutual vision so that both of you agree to exactly what the client is buying, so that when the contract or the proposal comes around, they know that they've already pre-thought about it, pre-discussed it. You have what Alan Weiss calls a conceptual agreement before you even go and put a proposal together. And a lot of people are rushing to proposals before we're even clear, or we'll talk for a little while, they won't take notes, and then I'll get a proposal and I'm not even sure what the product is going to look like in my head, and I have a proposal and I have to decide whether I want to buy it or not. Contrasted with the company who's a specialist and has all that stuff on their website and it's super dialed in, it makes it just there's a lot more confidence associated with that particular transaction. Now, they tend to cost more, but they tend to have everything sort of figured out, and things seem more streamlined, if you will. So you do pay a little more, but the question you got to ask yourself is, what kind of buyer do you want? Do you want a buyer who's just looking for someone to get the job done, therefore inexpensively, and therefore doesn't really care about a high quality of work or a specific outcome? Versus the type of buyer who has clear goals, who is successful and wants quality product anyway, and then basically says, yeah, I have a pretty clear vision of what I want. I'm looking for someone who's good at this. I'm willing to spend a little bit more to do the job right. And that's really what you want, is you want people who specialize, who do the same thing day in and day out, who do the job right, who will produce a quality product that'll last a long time, that'll increase the value of your home, or in the case of marketing services, that'll increase the value of the business. And that's what you're looking for. And so you want to be the specialist. You want to be, hey, yeah, I've seen you come around, people like you all the time. Every client is a little bit unique, but we have broad packages that frankly serve the individual needs of clients like you. And so you want to have that swagger. And you also want to be like, yeah, you can go to any number of other contractors out there, but if you want someone who specializes in, businesses like yours or what have you, then you want, that's the kind of attitude and vibe you want to have, which is a specialist attitude, which is like, yeah, I've done this a million times. I'm confident. I'm going to cost a little more, but I'm going to do a great job for you. Otherwise, you can roll the dice and I can introduce you to 100 people. And so I went onto a platform originally looking, because I had no idea where to start with contractors. Now, I think, having spoken to the deck company who specializes in decks, I think I'm much more likely just to go and for my washer, my bathroom in the basement, to go and look for specialists who just do that and say, is there someone who can do this, who does this all day long, and really go seeking specialists for that project and a specialist for my deck, rather than trying to get them done by the same person. And I may spend a little bit more, but I'll get a far better result likely in both things that I love. And clients are just tired of working with generalists who will take on work, who aren't really specialized, and then don't do a great job, don't get a business result, and then have to go back and hire a professional again in the future. And so there's too much on the line. So you want to work with clients that you know how to serve best, that you can add value to. You're doing the type of work you can do very well, and have packages and make it really super easy for them to buy, and then have a ton of case studies, testimonials, whatever you can to demonstrate that you are the credible expert in that space. That's the goal. Not that complicated, but regardless of what you sell, that's where you want to be, and you want to have that swagger factor that says, I'm this, all I do is work with people like you on problems like you have, and if that works for you, great. And if it doesn't, there's a million other people who will learn on your dime, who may even be a little less expensive, but we'll get the job done. And then it's up to you to figure out where the deficiencies are later on, because they definitely will be there. So I hope this stream of thought helps you a little bit in terms of looking for patterns in ways that you buy outside of your world. A lot of people are scared to niche because they feel like they're limiting, but it's like a door to Narnia. Once you open that door, there's a huge world out there. And that's what specializing really is, and gives you that confidence to do an exceptional job. And so the fun doesn't come so much in the variety. You still have a bit of variety in that when you specialize. The fun comes from deep expertise that compounds over time and gives you a competitive advantage and a moat that allows you to charge a premium over the competition, because frankly, you've just done for so long. So hopefully this video gives you a little bit of thinking, and maybe even inspires your next construction project. I'll let you know how mine goes, and let me know if this helped you at all in terms of positioning yourself as a specialist and some of the benefits from the buyer's perspective, because sometimes it's easier to know how obvious it is to specialize once you've been a buyer. And so that's my thought for the day. I'll see you in the next one.